Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans from across the nation and around the world. This is live. We're at Lettermen Live here at Roosters.
Lettermen Live.
Here with Mike Doss, Justin Zwick. Hey, guys, nothing going on today, right? Except for the fact that y'all's good buddy, old-time compatriot, Luke Fickell, turned down Michigan State and decided to stay at the University of Cincinnati. Number one, Mike Doss, how shocked are you?
I mean, it's pretty shocking, but at the same time, it's one of those deals where I think, he coached with Dino. It's a lot of former guys that he coached with at Ohio State on that staff.
Yeah.
And I could see that kind of being a issue or wavering where it's like, I got to go through this re-interview process. I already got my Cincinnati staff of guys, my core guys.
Marcus Freeman.
But at the end of the day, I think, him having a great relationship with Mark D'Antonio, he was probably able to give Mark a call, talk for an hour or so. What's the lay of the land up there?
Yeah.
How was the support within from leadership, administration?
What's coming down?
Well, what's coming down? I think that's the
Right.
bigger issue.
Yeah. Well, what's coming down the pipeline with allegations or potential suspensions or no bowl games, and then the big thing of it, what's the future? Are we building indoor facilities? What kind of athletic complexes are we adding? How is recruiting?
Yeah.
And it's all kind of hit ahead, and he goes, I'm in a great space. I just won 11 games at the University of Cincinnati. I don't have to rush anywhere to really get a good job. And he's kind of probably just waiting, and he's being very selective in his selection process on how he wants to maneuver and progress his career.
Yeah, when it first came down, just talking with buddies, Fickell, that's perfect. Dino did the same thing. He went to Ohio State, went to Cincinnati, goes to Michigan State.
Yep.
And I was just like, I don't see Fick doing that just based off of what the heck's going on up in Michigan State.
Right.
Dino gets his $4 million bonus.
Yep.
2 weeks later, right before signing day, hey, I'm retired. So what's going on there? I like Mike said, I think Luke's in a great spot in Cincinnati. They're winning, they're recruiting well. The only reason you'd make that switch, I think, because Michigan State hasn't been good. And when was the last time they beat us? I mean,
they have won a Big Ten championship, in the playoff era.
Well, in the playoff era, and they were the one school in the Big Ten that I thought was a thorn in our side.
Right.
From whenever Urban got there to a certain point in time, they were they were our big game of the year.
Yep.
Right.
They're not there anymore. I don't think that recruiting is there anymore. So if you're Luke saying, well, I'm going to walk into this position where we're at the bottom of the Big Ten because we don't have players,
right?
So it seems. There might be something coming down the line as far as violations, suspensions, something.
Yeah, he's already been there. Remember 2011 when he was the interim
when he was the interim head coach,
took over for Tressel.
Yeah, so he knows how that feels and how that plays out.
Yeah, the uncertainty,
exactly. So it's like you want to make that jump because you're coaching at Cincinnati, which is great, and you're doing great there.
Yeah.
But it's still whatever conference they play in. I don't even, I can't tell.
The AAC.
Well, yeah. So it's still that conference. Yeah. So getting to the Big Ten would be great. But you got to do it, and I think you said he has to pick and choose the right situation. And I think by not taking this next year, job openings, there's going to be job openings.
Yeah.
He's going to have his almost pick of the litter.
About this. I was thinking about it. I mean, I was asked about this like a week ago when the whole stuff with D'Antonio came down. I did a bunch of radio shows, and I said on the one hand, I could see Luke Fickell staying at Cincinnati, maybe forever, the kind of guy he is, with all those kids and the comfort they feel there. And he's making like $2.5, $2.6 million a year, but that's still pretty damn good money, no matter where you are.
Well, and he's probably going to make a little bit more now, don't you think?
But the flip side, the parlay is coming. A new athletic director, et cetera. But the flip side of that is you could sit around your whole life waiting for that ideal opportunity to come, and then it doesn't. And or when it does come, you're instead of going 11-2 last year, you went 6-6 last year, or 6-7, and suddenly you're not the hot guy, And whether or not you could use Michigan State as a stepping stone, like Nick Saban did, obviously, is another question. But this was the middle of the road team in the Big Ten East, which most people consider at least in a tie for the best division in college football, along with the SEC West at this point.
Yep.
The problem is, though, the stack ahead of you, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan,
it's tough. Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean,
So I could see ruminating all of that, but how often does an opportunity come? Because this isn't Rutgers. This isn't Maryland, right?
Yeah.
So how often do those opportunities come? You have to weigh all of that. But finally you have to figure out if you're not in it, if your heart's not in it, like you're saying, Jim Bowman's still on that staff. Jim Bowman, you got to believe, is one of the
Tressel,
guys. But Jim Bowman's one of the guys you got to figure Luke Fickell would have gotten rid of if he'd gotten to hire his own staff at Ohio State.
Exactly.
He got hamstrung with inheriting some guys. So, like you said, and then Marcus Freeman was probably going to be the number one candidate to replace him at Cincinnati. So he's not going to be coming with
you have a new defense coordinator. You have new guys that you're
you got to figure Marcus Freeman might be a little disappointed.
And most importantly, in the game of recruiting, the timing was really bad. Right? The timing is really bad. If you were going to let Mark D'Antonio go, if you knew you could have predetermined this after the last game of the season, said, hey, he's going to coach our bowl game. He's going to be out of here. Give the new coach a chance to recruit. You may not have gotten a splash in the December signing day that you wanted, but at least from December, once you're named the new guy in January 1st, you got at least 40 days to hit the road running pretty hard to come lead up to National Signing Day to make, let's push. He can grab some of those Cincinnati guys that he, have recruited. Now you can come to Michigan State. Hey, you can pull these guys that were AAC guys, give them a chance, commit to me, come be in the Big Ten.
Mike, he's become a thorn in the side of Michigan State recruiting because they got 4 or 5 guys in the UC's class, which is rated higher than Michigan State's, that Michigan State wanted. I mean,
they couldn't get.
So it's like this really weird thing. Like, talk about, there was an idea that when his athletic director took the job at USC.
I think that's still in play.
Right, but they ended up with a better recruiting class than USC.
Exactly.
Based on the ratings. And you're going, Luke's got something going on that's real. Don't just throw it away. But I'm telling you what, if USC calls.
He's out. He's out.
Got to, right?
And the last deciding factor.
That's one of those programs.
Yeah, and I think the last deciding factor for him is the family, the most important side of it. He sat down with his wife. They kind of ironed it out. Hey, what's the pros and cons?
6 kids.
6 kids, timing. His son is going to be a senior down at Cincinnati St. Xavier.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, do we uproot, our oldest and put him in a situation now where, we got to find another school. We got to find a house.
3 years ago
we just did this, leading into his freshman year 3 seasons ago. And he wants, to keep that, keep that stability right within his house. Keep that stability within his life. And as Tim just alluded to, with his AD going to USC, Clay Hilton still has, he had a terrible recruiting class. And we'll give you another year, but we're not signing you to a long-term deal. 6 months, 9 months, well, let's say 10 months from now. Luke Fickell could be headed out to California.
He's got at least a foot in the door for a major interview there. Pat Chunn's the athletic director, like at Washington State. Who knows where he's going to end up in a couple of 3 years? I mean, big friends with Luke, so he's developed these attachments, connections along the way, which could pay off for him. But you could sit around your whole life waiting for Alabama to open.
No, you could.
Now Nick Saban
or USC,
the
same type
right.
thing.
But everybody has their own little favorite son that you'd have to jump over, to get that. So the thing, his challenge now is, if he does have aspirations to be somewhere else down the road, he's got to keep on keeping on.
Yes.
And you see at this level, because that's what people are watching.
He's basically betting on himself now, saying, all right, I got this recruiting class coming in. I feel pretty good about who we have coming back, who we're adding to go and make another run like I did last year. And then, at the end of next year, you see who's open and what you want to do.
Justin, you were around him. when he was here at Ohio State. He was kind of a budding assistant coach.
He always showed promise. I mean, he absorbed a lot. He learned from some great coaches. Coach Haycock, they used to sit in that film room, and then Antonio, Mel Tucker, Mark Snyder. Those guys really built, and John Tenuta's on his staff who recruited me, who was one of his coaches. So he definitely has a good core group of, I would call mentors or peers that he could talk through this whole process and go, what are your thoughts on this? And what do you What do you think of him as a coach, though? What your impression? And get yours, Jay-Z.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
You saw him more. I only the one story I have about Luke is
you saw him.
Go ahead.
Hoot and holler, and I'm the quarterback.
You saw him from afar.
And I handed the ball off, and you know how hoot and holler is.
Yes.
Big hit. Everybody's jumping up. I'm a quarterback in my black jersey. Not doing it, but I'm pushing guys.
But you saw him.
I'm a senior.
You saw him
Luke
operate.
Grabs me from the back.
He saw him operate.
Just yanks me off the pile.
Yeah.
And I look at him like, Luke.
Right.
And he just gave me a smirk. And I'm like, you're so intense. You can't turn it off. I love but that's him.
Right.
He was that wrestler
This is not,
all the time. He's just go hard and just get after it.
Jay-Z, you don't belong in this group.
Get your black jersey out of here.
But and I played under him. He was our special teams coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just young in his career. I mean, that's almost that's 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So to see his development, to see how he's progressed, he's recruiting my younger brother now. I actually played my younger brother and his son are in the same class, so I got to see his son play against my younger brother, in middle school for that time. So I could see the development in Luke, and just I think his passion, I think his commitment to the process is why he also stayed at Cincinnati, because he only just had been in there 3 years.
Right.
So for him to, he's like, hey, I signed a 4 or 5 year deal.
He's recruiting these kids who he cares about.
I'm recruiting these
telling
kids.
them I'm going to be here.
He's selling that to each household and these mothers and dads and grandparents and uncles who's all in that process. And he's like, hey, for me to really make a jump, it has to be the right fit.
Yeah.
And I just think Michigan State and the timing, how things were, he's like, I'll sit down, listen to what you have to say. More or less, you're recruiting me to come, and I have to feel like it's earth-shattering, it's earth-moving to make me get up out of this seat. I've developed this great core here. I got great coaches. I'm feeling pretty good. We're in a great space. We were 1 or 2 wins away from potentially getting to conference champ, getting to the
but
CFP.
also being in one of the college football playoff
exactly,
games.
exactly. And
it's probably more of a practice. Hey.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to take this job, but I'm going to go through this process
interview
to see what it's like.
Yeah, interview
to go through
on
the
this
interview,
level.
to
No,
see,
you
to
owe
ask
it.
the questions.
Yes, you owe it to yourself.
You
to
owe it to
yourself to
no
interview.
matter what allegiance you have. Because, like I just said,
Right.
you go 5 and 7 next year.
Yeah.
All your buddies may be going, instead of doing this,
Right.
or going, you never know how life is going to change for you.
Yeah, but you owe it to yourself to go through the recruiting process as a coach, because at some point in time you will be sitting, and then you can evaluate yourself and say, next time this is what I'm going to sell myself on. This is what the things I need. So when I could imagine that conversation with Michigan State's president or whatnot or AD is like, what do I need? What am I looking for? And if you don't check these boxes, this isn't the fit for me.
It's almost got to be the perfect fit.
And ultimately the upside, right? Like a USC, a Notre Dame, a Miami Hurricanes, or a Texas, some schools like that where the power, tradition, and rich history, and a support system to help uplift them to another level. That part where it's like I can make a splash in my career.
Give me a brief answer to this, because we got a break here in a second. What is your younger brother's? What's his impression of Luke? What does he think of Luke?
Yeah, he loves Luke. I mean, the process for him is that Luke's been honest, straightforward, solid. He comes at AJ with a passion of hey, look, I'm a tough leader, but I'm like a brother type. Where it's like, look, I love you, but I need the most out of you. It's not like, hey, just come here, you're going to play football for us, and the sky's the limit. It's like, look, this is what we do here. You can come join the party, and your talent is good enough that will help raise us to another level. Yeah. But it's you got to do it our way.
You're going to earn it.
You got to earn it. You got to earn it. You're going to do it our way, and that's been a lot of fun.
That's why I told Luke back when he was a player at Ohio State, I thought he'd be a head coach one day, just because of what y'all just pointed out. But the great thing about head coaches, the great ones, they can look you square in the eye and tell you without blinking what you're doing wrong.
Yep.
And how you're
just
hurt.
a look, that look,
But then they can still do this for you.
Pat you on
down the road, let you know they have a way of like letting you know they're on your side. But
100%.
like you said, it's your big brother telling you everything you're doing wrong. But he's still your big brother.
Exactly.
And he learned from a great one in Dino, because Dino
was
at Ohio State.
Yes.
He would rip you, and then you walking off the field. Hey,
still
good,
great.
Good job out there.
Hey, real quick before we break. What's just give me a minute impression of what happened with Dino? What's just judging from afar?
From afar, it's some.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's some politics of that are out of your control. But then it's some of those things where maybe are in your control. I know they had some cases and stuff with some players, off the field kind of incidents, but you can't control that. You can only the guys come to football for so many hours, right? You can only get so much time with them. You can't, be with them at the end of the night at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night,
and as a
think
coach,
you're going to control everything.
If a guy has had issues, as a coach, you say, I want to give him a shot, and I think I can change him.
Right.
Not change him in a way, but
right.
I think I can guide him to help him stop making those bad decisions.
Yeah. Right. And you're dealing with young men.
It works great if they stay out of trouble, but if they don't, it bites you in the because then you find yourself.
My famous line about that though? If you recruit a problem, you know what I mean? a guy that's been a problem, you're going to have a problem. I mean, you're going to be dealing with that the whole time he's there.
Give and take.
No, I'm not judging guys. I'm just saying, though, you've got to stay on top of it. And really,
you got to manage it. Yeah.
It's more of, what you really get judged on is how you deal with it then.
Yes.
And that's kind of what he's been judged on. From these depositions and stuff, from what you're hearing, and plus you had somebody from the inside turn state's evidence,
right? You got the recruiting coordinator, whatnot. He's all upset, frustrated with the process of how he probably was handled on the exit strategy, and he felt like he fell on the sword or took a lot of the heat,
the blame.
But the doctor situation, I think, is just so big. I mean, it's just so big, and ultimately, it's like one of those things. Did you know? Did you not know? And if you did, if you didn't, at the end of the day, Michigan State gave him a graceful bow out. Hey, here's a
take your retirement money and just
take your retirement money. Move forward in your life. If you decide to coach again, hey, it is what it is. But ultimately, we don't want the negative press here. Hey, we fired you over this reason. Then it's like this big letdown. And then they're saying, Brett Bielema is the next in line since Luke turned it down. So we'll see.
They got to be down at somewhat at the bottom of their list by now.
Yeah, they got. I mean, timing's everything.
Hey,
it's hard.
We may talk about that after we talk with Nicole here in a minute. But we're going to break right now.
We're definitely going to bring in Nicole. We got a idea of a big cruise, Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, coming up here next week. I'll be on the boat.
You got your cruise wear on right now.
I got my cruise wear on. I'm trying to slim down. I got to lose a quick 5.
Greenland, man. I
got to do my Mike Tyson and hit the punching bag tonight. You know what I mean?
Mike Tyson, by the way, though, this is the anniversary of Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson.
Man.
Interesting you brought that name up. But we're going to be back in just a moment with Nicole from Roosters to tell you all about a special promotion. Just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Nicole from Roosters, and you've already got your cruise wear bought, I guess, for next week. Are you excited?
We are so excited. This will be my 10th cruise. It's the absolute best. And a huge thank you to these guys who are cruisers as well and donating their time to be there and just make it so special.
Yeah, you've been on 10. I think this will be my 12th.
Wow.
So it's been a great time. If you don't know about the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, we encourage you to get online, start researching it throughout the year. Next week, we will be on a boat.
Yes.
But throughout the entire year, the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer and people who have been on the Buckeye Cruise are doing events year-round trying to raise money that goes towards the James to help find a cure for cancer.
And even here, we sell our Cheryl's cookies.
Roosters is huge. They are huge supporters of the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. They are amazing. You tell them a little bit about what you guys do. It's a
phenomenal organization. I mean, what they do, we're going to find a cure one day. We really are. And if anybody has not gone on the cruise, I just highly, highly recommend it. And, they raised over $3 million last year.
Crazy.
Fingers crossed, we might be hitting 4 this year,
Wow.
which is insane.
It always seems to go up.
I know.
Yes, it does.
It's unbelievable, but a huge thank you to their team. They are just so passionate about it. It's truly a family over there, and we're excited to be donating $150,000 this year. Which,
wow.
And a huge thank you to our guests who buy the Cheryl's cookies, and the cookies go back to, you can buy those in our stores. The money goes back to the cruise, so at the James.
Lisa Cisco has been doing a great job. I was one of the early adopters of the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, and I took a little hiatus. I started having kids, and this will be my first time.
I just had one. I'm getting out of the house. I gotta go get some sleep on this boat. This baby's keeping me up at night.
It's been, I think, 7 years. So it's been 7 years since I've been on the cruise. So me and my wife, it'll be a little date trip for us.
We're so glad you're coming back.
I'm excited to be back on the cruise. I was just telling Zwick I gotta finish a couple more workouts. I gotta come back and look like I'm in shape. At the end of the day, it's like, hey, you left looking in shape. You got to come back look like you in shape. So I'm excited. Definitely the events that they have on the cruise. We sign autographs. It's truly all Ohio State fans. For those who don't know, if you are a Buckeye fan and you want to support a great cause, this Buckeye Cruise for Cancer is awesome. Lisa Cisco has done a tremendous job over the years, just growing it and expanding it with every opportunity that they can. Mm-hmm. And if you are a business, listening out there and wants to connect with the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, go online, search Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, and Lisa Cisco is your main contact.
Absolutely.
So anything that you can contribute, And as Justin said, throughout the year, there are events all
Yes.
over the state of Ohio where people just donate. I know Squinty Penn does a cornhole for cancer.
Cornhole tournament.
do
People at Indian Lake do a huge
the
event
JR
every
Memorial,
year,
which
the
is
JR Memorial.
absolutely
Yep.
wonderful. We do a golf outing. We've
Yep.
been
Roosters
so
does
lucky,
golf
though.
outing.
It's sold out every year. We've been so fortunate. But, and Mike, you're part of our day at sea, and so are you,
Yeah.
Justin.
All right.
So
I'm
we
excited.
have the wing
Yes.
tasting. We're doing
Oh, the wing
wings on the
tasting.
cruise.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, what is it? I was asking you guys, what is your favorite? Start with Nicole in a nutshell. What is your favorite part of the cruise, other than the raising the money part?
With hands down opening night, it's called the Buckeye Spectacular,
Yeah.
when all the survivors go on stage and the athletes, and it is the most emotional, just heartwarming. You truly feel like this whole group, this whole boat is there to find a cure, and it gives me chills just talking
It does,
about
yeah.
it.
It gave me chills.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
To talk about it.
It
It's
is absolutely
and-
amazing.
They will, like what she's talking about, they will have all the athletes on stage, they introduce us, and then any survivor on the boat can come up on stage, and the players make a tunnel. We're hugging people. I mean, tears are flowing. Like
They are.
It is absolutely incredible. That
Yeah.
first night's.
It is.
Yeah, chills just talking about.
I
it.
know. I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Where all y'all hitting this year? Where are you?
I think we start out in Miami.
Yes, and
Right?
then we go to Coco Cay, the
Yep.
brand new Coco
Row.
Cay.
Brand
yes.
new Coco
Yes,
Cay.
yes.
Yeah.
And then to Nassau,
Nassau.
Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yes.
But to piggyback more off what she was saying, the family atmosphere when they're on the Survivor night, when they're on stage.
Yes.
That's the whole cruise. I don't know how many
Yes.
people I've met who have been on the cruise, maybe not survivors, just somebody who wants to go and support and be
Right.
a part of
Yeah.
finding a cure, who I've become friends with outside of the boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just normal
Yep.
normal life.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just,
built
it's
relationships.
just nuts
Yeah.
because everybody's there for the right reason. They love Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
They want to beat cancer, and that's what we're there
They're
for.
good
So
people.
They're great people.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just
Does
there's nothing like we got to go on this. Like I can't wait to see some of the guys.
No,
know.
since
I
last
mean,
year.
It's a
think of-
reunion. It's like a family
and it's
reunion, a good family reunion.
Yeah, and it's an athlete reunion as well, where it's like you see so many different generations of Buckeyes that reconnect, and it's like, hey, we're here, and it's all Ohio State. Like,
Yeah.
that's the part about it where it's just like not this random one-off person. It's like you're here, you know what you're a part of, and signing autographs, giving back with our time, but most importantly, the camaraderie of all the survivors and the athletes, and just this is kind of our spectacular of the year. Every February, end of February, coming into March, where it allows to celebrate, everything that we culminated for the whole year, and it ends right on the cruise. So it's a lot
It's
of fun.
how,
amazing.
how crazy does the auction get? Isn't there an auction?
Oh man,
And
One
this
year
is why-
they sold
this is-
gold pants for
$200,000.
Yep.
Yeah, $200,000.
This is what I've heard though, is that they have a way of making you feel comfortable no matter what your stratus,
Yes.
Yes.
your stratus
They do.
is, because everybody, on the cruise doesn't have an extra
Yeah.
$20,000
They're-
to buy gold.
Exactly.
for their
Well, and we're selling some mugs that have the Roosters logo on them in the gift shop, but proceeds from those go back to the fund.
Right.
So, I mean, there are so many different ways you can contribute. The auction is definitely, it's
That's the big ticket
yes,
item.
That's the
yes,
big- yeah, I'll say
ticket
big
item.
Throughout
ticket.
the rest of the
Yes.
cruise, there's duck ponds where it's $20.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get
Yeah.
a duck, and whatever number that is, I get that prize.
Right.
Exactly.
There's just little things that maybe if you don't have a ton of money to give,
Right. But-
you give what you can, and there's little things you can do.
And most importantly, when you actually book your room, part of those proceeds go to it. So in that sense, where it's like, hey, if I just book my room, my cabin, or what they call it, the state house or
Stateroom.
stateroom,
Yeah.
and get on the cruise, that you're automatically contributing just right there.
All right, to get back to the auction, what's the craziest thing you seen? You was talking about the gold
gold
pants.
pants.
Yeah, the
gold pants
Whose
was-
were they number one?
No,
Well,
it was
they were an extra set made.
Oh.
Yes.
Every pair every pair of gold pants
Yep.
since a certain date or something
Right.
along those lines.
Wow.
And so, yeah, $250,000 I think
Yes.
is what
Wow.
the final price
I
on
know.
that was. There's cool. I mean, Herbie brought to the table going to the Heisman ceremony.
Yeah,
So
Rose
you get to go to
Bowl.
New York. You get to go
And
be
Kirk
a part of that
Herbstreit
whole
will be
thing.
on there again
Oh,
this
he's
year.
back.
Yep.
So,
Kirk's
oh man,
back
I
as
missed
well.
my boy. Yeah,
And he
that,
took
that was
he
always
took
a great
years
time.
Off like
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
he's been able to bring a lot of really cool things just through his connections at ESPN.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff there. The Rose Bowl. Gosh.
Some of the, like, when I don't know if Archie's on it this year or not, but I know when the years I was on, Archie would auction off, dinner with Archie through Cameron Mitchell's,
Wow.
and he would bring a Heisman.
Yeah.
So
Here's a
imagine, you spending a couple
He
grand.
did that here at Roosters,
Yeah,
which is, again, a huge thank you to him. I mean, that's how passionate the
Yeah.
athletes
Yeah.
are about this cause as well, which is it's just
It's
so
unbelievable.
nice.
I mean, but he would, he say, you and 20 of your friends, Matt, whatnot, and then the bidding gets going, and I saw it get to 15,000. Next thing you know, he's like,
do two.
Let's do two.
They
Let's make it.
will.
All right, let's do two.
It's
So you
crazy.
get, dinner at your house. Catered by Cameron Mitchell's restaurant
With Archie Griffin.
with
Yeah.
Archie Griffin and a Heisman.
Yeah.
No big
so
deal. Just another night,
exactly.
another Saturday night.
Takes up a lot of room on the table, though. I'm telling you.
I actually have dinner at my house, but there's no Heisman.
There's no Heisman.
Just a ton of Coors
Right,
Light, and we have a great time.
I tell you what I like is that Herbie taking a guy to the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I hope Justin Fields gets to bid on that.
That'd be sweet. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Compliance would want to know where that
Yeah,
money
that
went.
would- absolutely. That would be
Exactly.
an immediate investigation.
But it's not just that too. Just I think we're talking about the levels of money being able to contribute, but the volunteers too. There's so many volunteer
man.
opportunities.
Yeah,
That cruise
that's a
would not
great point.
happen without the volunteers.
Great
and
point.
I mean, every time I go to a volunteer meeting, it is packed full of people that are just so passionate about it
Great
that
point.
they just donate their time, which is so nice.
Nicole, where does this come from Roosters, though, the involvement? Because you guys, it's not just lip service.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're passionate.
I get really passionate about it.
I mean, obviously
So-
it pays off for you too. I mean, Buckeye fans,
We-
pay back, so to speak. But where does that come from? you think?
I want it comes. Our owner Dan, he and
Yeah.
the Fricks, they go on the cruise as well, and it filters down from them. They appreciate every single one of us. Dan will walk in here. He'll
he's the
call
best.
people by name. And we always have been taught, you give and it comes back twice more. You don't worry about
Pay
anything.
forward.
You just
Yeah.
you just support the people that support you. And that's why supporting the community is so important to us.
Well,
It's
that's
just
good.
it is, because it's that we wouldn't be in business without the support of our guests.
100%. I agree.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, these three people are headed to a cruise.
You have an awesome sunburn by the time next
And I'm going to be honest, I really don't like boats at all, but it's for the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, so
good cause.
it's for a
Yes.
great cause. I don't go fishing. I don't do anything that's really in a boat, but just for this cause, I can sacrifice for 5 days
awesome.
and say, hey, let me enjoy it. They bring, alumni band.
Yeah.
They have alumni cheerleaders. I mean, so they have so many different festivities going on. It's a great event. And again, check it out on, search
And on
Buckeye.
Facebook. Check it on the group Facebook page.
Okay.
That's where they have the videos. That's where they have just testimonials. So
Yep.
the group Facebook page for the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
The Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. Check it out on Facebook, as Nicole said. We're going to be back in just a moment again, and we're going to talk about Cardell Jones is playing football
Yeah.
in
after,
February
After the
Big time
NFL
Defender
season.
fan, baby.
and looking damn good.
Yeah.
We're going to be back
Yes.
to talk about that and a little bit more when we come back.
Roosters is one of the unique companies that we deal with. They're involved in everything we do, from our personal foundation to also the Cancer Research Fund. And that's from the Buckeye Cruise from Cancer to all the events leading up to the Buckeye Cruise.
They donate back to different organizations that are near and dear to their heart. And we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long, long time.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Well, as promised, we're back. And not only we're back, but so is Cardell Jones.
Yes, he is,
The
man.
XFL. And, people could knock this league all they want. Clearly, it's not on the level of the NFL talent-wise, because the cream of the crop is still in the NFL, but there are still some pretty good football players out there who want to keep playing football. And I was entertained. I watched several of the games. I was entertained, but the main reason I tuned in on Saturday to watch the opener was because of Cardell Jones. What was your
Cardell
impression?
Jones.
And Sprinkle and
Yeah.
Grant.
And Grant.
That's basically Ohio State. East.
Ohio State East
Yeah, but
Coast.
Cardell's the one with that ball in his hand.
yes.
So,
You
easy to
saw
watch
more
him.
of him than anybody
Yes,
else.
and what I really enjoyed just of the weekend, and the fact that Cardell Jones is now 12-0 as a starter. He played 11 games at Ohio State, went 11-0, and then he got a chance to start here in the XFL. But I do like I like the speed of the game. I like the fact that it's up tempo. 20-second play clock, 25-second play clock, I believe.
Yeah.
And just the safety on kickoff. You saw that. That's a little different. The guys waiting within 5 yards apart. You see,
Till he catches the ball.
Catches
Yeah,
the
the
ball.
kickoff I love.
Yeah, the safety there, and just you can see the interaction with replay. that was kind of cool to actually hear the coaches call plays. They talking about they got multiple players on defense getting those calls with the mics in their helmets.
Yeah.
Multiple players on offense getting those, the receivers, special skill guys getting those calls. But to see the replay where we're at home for sure, like that would have been freaking awesome during the college football playoff to hear these referees talk through why that ball was not a fumble.
That is that's probably the best part about it.
Yes.
Is the transparency.
Yeah.
of
The
seeing
transparency.
What are they looking
Yes.
at? What are they talking about?
Right.
And how do they come up with these
Yeah,
decisions?
and you only need 1 foot in their league for a catch.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool too.
Well, I've been watching that on international rugby or this rugby. I was watching a rugby tournament a few weeks ago on television, and they do that. They've been doing that for a while, where an replay official in the booth is telling the official on the field what he's seeing.
Okay.
And he's watching it up on the big screen like you and I are.
Yep.
And sometimes they get in a debate. Well, wait a minute, that ball didn't move. You know what I mean?
Right.
Things like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
But guys, I mean, it's easy to do that when there's 25,000 people there, or in a rugby tournament, 25,000. But what if they had said to the crowd that was live there that night, explained why that wasn't a catch? That was forget about the crown of the helmet, the targeting call.
Right.
But to tell you that wasn't a catch that got stripped by Jeffrey Okuda and scored, that Jordan Fuller scooped and scored on, there would have been anarchy, wouldn't there?
That would have been absolutely. So
I mean, just on the guy, the Hamina guy who I guess made the call was actually in Birmingham, Alabama, watching.
Exactly.
But
safety of his own home.
how crazy would that have been?
I think the transparency of the XFL allows you to trust or feel more, comfortable with those decisions.
Yeah.
Now, again, you highlighted, the talent isn't as rich as the NFL, but there are some great storylines throughout that league where Landry Jones was just flipping houses and doing construction on, and just remodeling homes, and he gets the call like, hey, what do you think about playing football again? And he, straps it up and says, hey, I'm gonna come out. I know he didn't play this past weekend with his knee injury, but he and then I think you being a sports guy, commentator, field analyst, what about the interaction after the play?
Oh,
like on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's
come on.
dangerous. They actually did it with the one guy. Did you see yesterday?
Yeah, Summers.
The punt was down on the 1 yard line, and the guy comes running in, and Pat McAfee's like, what were you thinking?
Right.
And he's like, and he was so mad, and he's just like,
Oh.
I was just trying to make a play. It's hilarious, though.
Trying to get on the tape.
Yeah.
Trying to get on the
Getting these
highlight.
guys right in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
and like, what the heck were you thinking there? Like,
Yeah.
what were you doing? It's
Let me
pretty
take you
awesome.
another direction now, though. Huge scandal in baseball right now. Stealing signs. The whole Houston Astros thing. The Red Sox have been caught up in it, things like that. How long before there's a huge scandal on the fact that we're listening to the offensive coordinator or the head coach call the plays, and you can also listen to the defensive coordinator make the calls, the adjustments and stuff. How long before there's a scandal there that he's listening to what the play call is? And because I'm telling you, even Saturday and Sunday, there were some times it looked like they knew exactly what was coming.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
how long does that last? Because here's the other thing. I'm sitting there, I'm watching this at home, and I'm going, this is great, but the people in the stands aren't getting to listen to it.
No, that's true. The people in the stands.
They're not getting the same experience I am. But
we're getting at home.
If you could steal signs, how hard is it to listen on a headset?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been done in the NFL in the sense of, coaches.
But you don't get to hear it.
Yeah, you don't get to hear it.
Right.
But the coaches, obviously, New England had Spygate. They had that back in the day where they were filming, I think, playoff teams walk through that they were going to play that
I'm
week.
talking about the actual calling of the play.
But you still have to execute. That's the tough thing. We, as athletes, know what the defense may be, or what the offense is going to come out. We see formations. We study the film to know, right? So in the sense of, it's different. And when you if you hear a Tom Brady tell you, hey, I'm throwing it to Edelman now, like that's going to be like, here's an issue.
As they start to get more film on the offenses, I think that's when that could come into use.
Yeah.
Right now, it's whatever. But yesterday I thought it was interesting. I saw Hal Mummy was just calling out numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
38.
Yeah.
That. I know now if you start hearing 38 all the time, it's the same play. But,
Right.
Using different kinds of numbers, you might have to start calling plays
Exactly, from your wrristband.
in a different way.
Yeah,
Instead of
exactly.
saying,
You
all
got
right,
the wristband.
pro right,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. You say, hey, 12.
Oh yeah, but you
Versus
can,
the number one with any other number, it doesn't matter. 106.
Exactly.
It's this play.
Yes.
You're going to have to come up with ideas and ways to keep them from being able to
Well,
know.
the way I would do that every quarter, I'd have a different wristband.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's what, and a lot of high school, definitely colleges do that. If they got a system where they go from the wristband, they change them up every quarter.
Yeah. But I mean, I just think it's, as cool as it is to listen to, because like they were letting everybody know Iowa's a tip-off. This an inside zone play of something. I mean, you still, like you said, you still have to execute, you still have to make the play. But if you know it's coming inside zone,
it's a little bit easier.
There's 3 gaps there you got to get after, right? So, but I really like it, and it was more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. And number 3, I am one of those guys who goes into a little bit of a funk when football's over.
Yeah.
Super Bowl Sunday is like the best day and the worst day. Football's over now.
Baseball ain't my game,
No.
Basketball, I watch the playoffs, but hell, they were showing today on ESPN before I came in here. They were showing a replay of a 2014 Baylor Texas basketball game. I'm going,
wow,
who's sitting at home watching
this? Yeah.
Watching this?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it does give you something else to do right now. I as a guy who would have really loved if there was an extra league like that coming out of college. Really want this thing to work, just for the kids who maybe don't get that shot, or NFL Europe just went away before I came out.
Yes, it did.
That could have been my shot to continue my journey, or to just try it.
I said on Wall-to-Wall
Let's
Sports
go
the
do
other
this.
night, with Dave Holmes. I said on Wall-to-Wall Sports that this is a 12-week 10-week.
10 week.
10 week plus playoff.
Yep.
But this is a 10-week commercial for Cardale Jones, for example.
Oh, 100%.
To show that he can play quarterback.
And here's another thing for you.
100%.
Think about that. These quarterbacks, some of them are making $500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said yes.
So what
I think 250 might have
keeps a guy in the league, a third stringer or something, who's bouncing around, saying, all right, I'm going to go make $500, be a starter, get the film.
Right.
And then
maybe
come back and at least I'm showing these
I'm
teams,
the franchise guy.
live reps.
Yep.
Because I'm not getting that on game day in the NFL or in practice, really.
Or you're not getting it in
so
practice in spring.
These guys might be saying, hey, I'm going to go play here and see if I can't come back and better myself.
What is the pay structure? Have you noticed though for the whole league? What like Mike? If you're on a roster, what are you making?
I think it was like an average of around
55. I think.
Yeah, I thought 75.
Oh, was it?
But I think the franchise guys like a Cordell, who they highlighted one guy in their roster who was a franchise guy. I think it was around that 250 mark.
See, I read an article was like $495 for some of the quarterbacks or franchise guys, and then the average everybody else is around 55.
Gotcha.
So
now,
is
that's
50?
an article
Is 55 or 60
worth
enough for you to put yourself in jeopardy? I mean, is that for
right out of college?
Yeah, right out of college. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, or
that's better. That's
money. That's better than practice squad money, isn't it?
It's pretty close.
Same, right?
It's pretty close. I mean, practice squad, you're jumping around week to week. So practice squad is like, it's not guaranteed I'll be back next week either.
Right.
So, but in a sense, for a guy to say, hey, I'm on the roster, and they got limited numbers, so they shrunk down some rosters, I think, to around 25, 28 guys maybe, versus it being a 53-man roster.
Yes.
But in a sense, it allows guys to maximize they're going to get on film and get that tape. So that 60,000 or 65,000 is worth it with a guy who was, hey, I was just sitting at the home, or I'm a personal trainer at Lifetime because I haven't really decided to get out the game. I'm hoping for a call.
I was on practice squad for a couple years now. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'm going to go out here. I'm still in shape. It won't take me long to get in shape. Let me compete and try to make this roster. I think they had their draft, so all the guys got to compete in one area, and they all got drafted. You got some marquee names, Bob Stoops. You got Landry. You got Jimmy. What's the Wade? No.
Hayes?
The owner who used to coach the Falcons. What's his name?
Yeah. I knew you're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got Hal Mummy sitting there.
You got Hal Mummy. You got NFL coaches on these staffs who were guys who basically they're interviewing as well.
Yeah, Chuck Long's calling plays for
exactly.
Yeah.
So you got these guys interviewing because it's so many rosters in the NFL, so many coaching in the NFL, so many coaching spots in college. So here's a chance that now I can get on film, I can coach, have an impact, but then some of these players may get a chance. And I think you gave a great example of, hey, I didn't really get the numbers or opportunities at Ohio State like I wanted, but here's a league that can give me film, true film, competitive experiences to now I can go put on tape and get reevaluated. And just to add there, Robinson, I think, for the St. Louis team on the defensive back was at West Virginia. He flunks out of school 2 years in. He's academically ineligible. Instead of him sitting a year and going, you know what, I just got to sit out. I'm going to miss this year. He goes, you know what, I'm going to take my chances, play 5, 7, 8, these 10 weeks, whatever it is. If he doesn't get drafted, you know, potentially, he just missed last season. So he's like, I'm not going to wait till this fall to play again in college. Let me just take my chance, get on tape. I'm in shape. I'm combine ready, and boom, and here he goes.
It's NFL Europe, except it's in the United States.
Well, here's what I was saying to my friends the other day when we were watching the game. What if the XFL said, you know, we're not even trying to go after the NFL.
Yeah.
We're trying to get into places like Columbus, blah, 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 and saying, hey, Justin Fields, come make some money playing quarterback for us for a couple years, get film, and then, you know, if you want to go to the NFL, you can go to the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, could they go and say, hey, we take 18 years and up.
Yeah.
The USFL.
You come here right now.
Right now.
We're going to get you filmed. You're going to get paid.
The USFL.
Yeah.
Hey, the USFL basically did that. Remember, the New Jersey Generals drafted Herschel Walker when Donald Trump was the owner.
Yeah.
Remember?
Wow.
And I mean, they kind of accelerated.
Yeah.
It's almost like you might get rid of the NCAA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, as the way things are going, unless they drastically change and say, hey,
I'm back from the old days.
Or the NFL buys them to control the league.
Yeah, but I'm back from the old days. I mean, I remember before the NFL and the AFL merged. You know, Joe Namath was a first-round draft pick of the New York Jets and the St. Louis Cardinals of the NFL, and this was his. And they held the draft in December of his senior year because the AFL was after the stars that everybody thought was going to go to the NFL, but they ended up paying more money in some respects. Everybody remembers Tom Cousineau going to the Canadian Football League.
Yep.
You know, he was a first-round draft pick of Buffalo, but he went to Montreal because they paid more money.
There you go.
I mean, so you never know where it's going. But before you get to that aspect, you got to get your foot in the door.
You got to make it through the season.
You got to make it through the season.
We saw another league fold last year with that Steve Spurrier and all these guys. You know,
right. So I mean, you got to make it through the season. Thus far, they got a decent product, and they're on premier channels. They're on Fox. They're on ABC.
Game. There's some different things.
Some
to
different
it.
things. Some
like,
different
that's
twists.
A really cool idea. Or,
yeah.
Wow, I like that a lot. You know, does the NFL look at it and say, I like that idea too? Let's maybe try and put that into.
And you would hope.
Sounds like you got the itch, Mike.
No, not me. I'm done. These 38-year-old bones.
The shoulder still clicks.
These 38-year-old bones is done.
Exactly.
I can't. If I went back, I'm playing 3 technique. I'm playing middle linebacker. Please, I'm not going to be a defensive back. Okay, please believe it.
But yeah, you hope it lasts. I watch football. I watch games Saturday and Sunday.
I did. I did too.
And this is the thing. I remember Obi Stillwell. You know, he and I were talking one day, and he goes, "The funny thing about football that people don't understand, it is really that one sport to when somebody else tells you, usually you're done.
Yes.
And you don't just go out and start a pickup NFL X's football game in the park.
Flag football.
You know what I mean? I mean, and I know these guys. I mean, I went over to Woody Hayes a while ago, and I was we were taping my podcast with Anthony Schlegel was there with me, and here's Justin Fields out there with a bunch of receivers and tight ends throwing the ball. And I'm just going, all the time and effort you put in from when you're like
10 years old. Let's say 10.
Old,
yeah, easy number.
And then all of a sudden you're 22.
And it's over. 12 years of your life.
I mean, I can understand the allure. That's why I was asking you a while ago. Is it worth that $65,000?
Yeah, it's
just
worth
to get to keep playing.
Just to keep playing, and you get more marketing for whatever business you're in. If you're insurance, you're in real estate. You know, it's like it's one of those deals where it's like, I can set my own schedule, so, hey, let me try to work these 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Play the game I love, still enjoy it, camaraderie, locker room.
Use them in Cardell in Washington.
Exactly.
I mean, if he blows up and continues to go, he may stay in Washington.
Because,
might
get the
people
call.
know him there, and he gets opportunities.
Real quick, before we touch on something real quick, I'm going to ask you, the former quarterback, and then you follow up. In a nutshell, how well did he play the other day, in your opinion? How did he look?
I thought he looked a little stiff, but that's that's going to happen when you haven't played football in a long time. But I think as the game went on, he got into it, and he was feeling the flow. And, that trick play where, you get that cheap one down the sideline, love it.
Yeah.
But that, gets you going. He threw a couple of really nice balls. He kept plays alive. I'm rooting for Cardell. I think it's great. I
mean, he would be a great story.
Yeah,
I mean, just again, we talked about it 3 weeks ago, I think, where it was like, if we had that 3-game span that he had in Columbus, would I stay or would I not? And I stayed for my senior year.
I know you did.
I stayed.
I remember
off
that.
a 7-5 team.
Yeah.
had that momentum that he had, do I take the chance to go and get drafted just by 3 games? And who knows what that story could have been. He could have been a first, second, maybe third-round pick and still potentially standing in the NFL.
Yeah.
But he comes back, ends up, not being the starter after so many weeks, and then it's like, okay.
Hey, let me interrupt you. It cost him millions of dollars.
Oh, potentially.
More than like-
Potentially.
And he was, but I mean,
potentially.
We talked about momentum.
But
In those 3 games,
momentum.
he had momentum
But
going.
That's what
the
I'm talking about.
momentum and the
That's what I'm talking
energy and what he did for 3 games will never be matched.
No.
It'll never be matched by any sport or collegiate sport of where.
And not only that, he wasn't this little peewee guy that went in and just ran. This guy was 6'5".
Big arm.
Can throw the ball 100
6'5",
yards.
240
He
with a
looked
gun.
the part of that super stud coming off the bench and being your hero.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden he got exposed the next year because that team was in transition. You remember when Tom Herman left
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. And so you're exactly right. I
It
mean,
happens to
it's
any
almost like
quarterback that comes back.
Yeah,
it paid
and-
off.
yeah.
It paid off for you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're part of a national championship.
Hey, national championship team, and he had won a national
know.
championship. So for him to what more could I do besides individual awards, win a Heisman, O'Brien Award, all these different things?
Yeah.
I felt he could have left, but back to this XFL. This is a chance for redemption where the story of Cardale Jones can still carry on and rebuild and push him back into the National Football League, or just dominate this league for the years that he's there.
Or just go and have fun,
exactly.
make some money, and play some football,
exactly. It's like,
Set
hey,
yourself up for later.
if this league lasts 5 years and I'm a starter for 5 years and I make $250,000 a year, hey, that was my
Not too
pro
shabby.
career. That's not too shabby.
There's not many starting out jobs where you're going to make $250,000
and play a game.
Yeah, and
exactly.
play a game.
100%.
As far as Gump said, thanks for spending this time with me in our nation's capital. Real quick, I want before we go, I want to ask Justin a question and you a question about a specific thing. Quarterbacks in January and February and March on a college football roster. I'm watching them throwing today. I mean, here's Justin Fields is taking control. A couple other guys.
Yep.
What do you get accomplished? I'm going to ask you about another guy. What do you get accomplished what happens there January, February, and March that pays off?
Oh, gosh, just the timing. I mean, just timing, feeling comfortable, knowing,
You're going against air. There weren't even DBs out there.
Well, I know, but you still are able to say, all right, hey, we're going to line up, we're going to run this play.
Yeah.
We got cover 2. What's everybody do here? Boom, all right, let's go out and do it. Hey, we got 3. They're rolling here. What do we do? So you just repetition with your receivers just so game time when there is a DB over there, all right, we've been through this millions of times. They know exactly what to do. They know exactly where to be, and I'm going to put the ball on them. So it's a huge time. It's downtime. I remember doing 6 a.m.s, throwing with Krenzel right afterwards, for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's just like that's the stuff you do, and that's what you got to do with those receivers, and then you just create that bond.
That camaraderie, I was going to add that.
Where you're there, and it's like everybody else is gone.
Yep.
Woody Hayes is empty except for you and that group of guys that are throwing.
Yeah.
And, it's quiet. There's no music being played. It's not this big hoopla. It's just you guys grinding.
Yep.
And that's
Putting
what
that
they're
work
going
in.
through right now, putting that work in.
Putting that work in.
When
I'll tell
spring
you
ball
what,
comes.
Garrett Wilson looks great.
Oh, gosh.
Chris Olave's now got this incredibly thick beard. I said, you're trying to make people forget what you look like, and he started laughing. I saw him out there, but he looks great. I mean, you asked me what you cover 2, cover 3, whatever, one high.
Yeah.
I'm throwing to Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson. That's what I'm doing.
Right. That was like Santonio back in the day.
Right.
When you look at the guys coming back in the defensive backfield, what can they get done in this period when they're? I'm not talking about the Mickey Marotti workouts and stuff, but what do they work on that's crucial in your opinion?
What's going to be key is the getting in the office with Coach Combs.
Yeah.
Getting that expectation.
Coach,
getting that terminology. What he thinks. What's going to be the plan for spring ball? Obviously, footwork. You can never stop working on your footwork. Speed ladder. DB drills, just constantly working on your craft. Jugs machines.
So you don't look like DBs out
right.
there.
Exactly. Jugs machines, catching the ball, getting comfortable, and then really just expanding your film study.
Yeah.
Right? Studying the film. If you want to be a Jeff Okudah, then if I'm going to be that corner, then I'm going to go watch all the games that he played. I'm going to watch some of his practices some of the things that he did. How did he compete? What was his level? What was his thought process here? And then put that all into your tool bag So when spring ball comes, you can work on those things. When summer, then you do it again. You go back, you grade yourself, sit down with Coach Combs, say, Coach, hey, let's grade my spring individually. What do you need? What's the biggest thing? A couple items I need to work on between summer and training camp. Try to work on those things: speed, ladder, footwork, speed, ball drills. So then obviously the weight room with Mickey. But then when I come into training camp, now I'm ready. I'm mentally confident. I can go out and actually produce and make plays.
Limit this to one guy. Give me one guy coming out of the last year, going into the spring practices that you are going to keep your eye on, especially Proctor. And why do you say that?
I want to because he's going to have to be the leader of that secondary. Right. He's going to have to communicate and make those calls, and he's a big frame guy. So he's going to obviously get stronger, but then he's going to have to also watch his weight to where he doesn't outweigh the position in a sense. So he doesn't, if he's 215, if he balloons up to 225, it's like, you got to stay light on your feet to be able to make plays. Do you move the outside backer or this bullet position that
you might need to be a bullet.
So, and we know what happened in the last year's bullet. So, but at the end of the day,
it was like Barty Fife's bullet. Never came out of the pocket. You're right.
But at the end of the day, I think Proctor's growth, his understanding of the game in the sense of knowing his role in my center field, am I calling the plays, am I the leader, being able to dictate and manage that and embracing that, and then being out there controlling that and going, hey, this is I'm in control of this, and leading that secondary. Sean Wade is going to be the veteran, and everyone's going to look to him, but Proctor can be a guy that can emerge with some confidence, that's leading in the spring, and take over and be like, hey, this is my secondary as well.
As great as you were as a senior, you had some moments coming up where you were great, and you had a couple of moments you like back. He had a couple of those even in that national championship game.
Yep.
Maybe not all his own fault. I mean, the footing out there was crazy.
I heard,
But how does that help you? You remember how it helped you. You became a big-time draft pick, blah, blah, blah. How does that help you having that experience?
I think, too, it helps in your growth mentally, right? It really takes you to another level when you have a coach or a defensive coordinator that understand there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be flaws in youth, right?
Yeah.
I was a sophomore. You had a hell of a game against Purdue. 2 interceptions, and then Drew Brees goes over top, puts the Boilermakers in the Rose Bowl, and that could have saved Coop's job. If I'm back there at cover 2, seed it and read it and see number 4, his number 4 option running up the sideline. I leaned on number 3. Never thought number 4 that he would have time to get there. So that growth from my sophomore year to my senior year, where I would go, now I'm a senior, I know I'm the last line of defense. I know everyone's relying on me to be able to make a play. Let me make sure I'm in position soundly to see both reads. But then ultimately when it's time to make a play, I always had the confidence that I can make that play versus being a reactor. I was a aggressor, like I'm going to make this play. So those were the growths. I think in my sophomore year, I was just a wild horse stallion, just like wherever the ball is at, I'm going to get it. And just made it happen. And then my junior year was like more controlled, like, okay, I know I'm going to be in position to make plays. Now let me make these plays. And then my senior year was like, okay, everyone's looking for me. No one's going to really come my way. My senior year, I was a 2-time All-American. And I was like, I'm not going to get a lot of action, but let me be prepared when it does come. So I taught my young guys, led those guys, helped Donnie, those guys be in position, and then ultimately when the plays came, was able to produce when we needed them. And and
those bad plays keep guys like him hungry. That happened last year. I'm coming back even stronger.
Now, real quick for you, because we were getting a wrap-up sign here.
We're killing it. We're doing a great show today.
In fact, he's going like this. Spencer,
he got somewhere to be.
Exactly. He's always got somewhere to be. You personally, what's that one guy you're looking forward to emerging from the winter offensively going into the spring?
That's tough. I mean, you got so many good
young
receivers coming back. I really
got another show next week.
What Justin Fields does. Because this could be an offense where it's on him now. Last year we JK was our guy. We wanted to run the ball downhill in these big games. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe we just sit back and say, we got all these weapons.
Dude.
He has a year under his belt in this offense. He's going to be our Trevor Lawrence next year, maybe. So I want to see his growth from one year to the next.
I said on my podcast the other day, I could see this swinging back, like last week or week before when I was talking with Austin Ward. I could see this swinging back to be more when you look at the weapons they've got on Julian Fleming, I mean,
it's some
gotta use
weapons.
those guys. You gotta
It's
give them the
some
ball,
weapons.
we haven't seen him play yet, but I'm talking about, in running back, you've got Master Teague III, Marcus Crowley, if he comes back. I'm not even sure how healthy he's going to be even in the spring. But
Well, we saw out of Master last year. I mean, you feel pretty good about that.
But my point is, how do you not use
all these weapons?
what might be the best group of receivers I'm talking about across the board?
Your best weapon is your quarterback
in the
right?
country. Yeah.
So you let him run with it, and if he's there.
But do you? Yeah. But you have the confidence because he was a first-year starter last year.
Exactly.
You could see occasionally the confidence. Maybe to call this player that wasn't there, but I thought he got better.
His growth.
And this is Ryan Day's first quarterback.
Yeah, he'll have 2 years in a row over the last 7 years.
I can't wait to see how
that impact is going to be huge.
And he's going to be wearing a black jersey all spring. Go ahead, though.
Keep those guys off of him.
Yeah. But just to finish up, again, if you have not heard about the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, please go to the website, search Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, do some research. It's a great event. Come out next year. They'll also highlight any events that they have throughout the year that you can support if you do not go on the cruise.
And even if you don't have that extra money, you can give your time.
Yes,
they need
volunteers
for
all the
everything
time
that they do. And it's a great cause, and there's a lot of great people.
Yeah, and plus, suntan oil don't cost that much. Ladies and gentlemen.
I won't be here next Monday. Zwick won't be here next
like
Monday.
This on a boat next week. It'll be red, but it'll be my skin.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Justin Zwick. That's Mike Dawes. I'm Tim May. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.